Hi, welcome back to my channel, Living in Aurora. Here, Jason Morse with the Experience here. Wanted to talk about how to buy a home. A lot of people think about wanting to buy a home. Think it'd be nice to own a home, or this particular home as you're looking on the internet. Oh, that home looks nice, but when it gets right down to it, what are the steps? How do you go through the process? How long does it take? So I'll go over that here today. See you on the other side. Okay, back here to go over the steps of how to buy a home. So you started thinking about it, dreaming about it, wanting to get the home of your initial desires. Maybe you bought a home a long time ago, forgot the steps. Uh, there's two main people you want to get and build a relationship with. One is me, as your local agent. You want to find an agent that you trust, work well with, can tell everything to, because you need to have an open communication with your agent. Um, they'll be the ones negotiating for you, trying to help you find places that meet your needs, and then working through the 30 to 45-day due diligence process once you get a home under contract. We'll go into that here in a second. But you're going to have a very close, intimate relationship with your agent. The other main contact you want to get is your loan officer. If you happen to be in a situation where you have the cash, you just want to buy a home outright, you won't need the loan officer. You still need an agent. But if you do need that mortgage, that's the second 1A, 1B uh, relationship that you're going to have, is to find a great lender to work with. I have some relationship with lenders. You may have some through your bank or through family friends, however that may be. But you really need to be able to trust them and hope that they give you feedback and realistic expectation of what you can afford and to go after. So those two paths kind of start at the same time. Um, Find the agent; they can set up searches for you for around the areas that you're looking for. And then also with the lender, you want to get pre-approved or pre-qualified. Depending on the lender, they do different steps in that process. But they'll gather all your financial documents around what your paycheck is, your income is, how much you have saved, bank statements, 401k statements, any of that type of information, so that they can go through that and see what you can afford to pay on a monthly basis, and that'll relate into a mortgage amount, a purchase amount. They'll also pull your credit to make sure they understand what everything that's on your credit report from other debts, other expenses you have, loans you may have out, credit cards, all that type of thing. Um, so that's where it gets pretty intimate with them, is they need to know and understand your total financial picture, so that they could realistically tell you, should you be buying a house now or not? Can you afford the monthly payments? Not only the mortgage, but the maintenance, taxes and insurance, everything that goes along with owning a home. You need to be sure you can afford all that before you get into the process of buying one. Once you have that secured, then you and I will go and start looking at homes. Again, depending on the value, what you're looking for, I'll get all that set up for a time that works for you. And then that's kind of the fun part of starting to look at places, what you like, don't like about them, number of rooms, bedrooms, baths. Do you want a basement? What type of basement? Walkout, garden level, ranch style place, 2-story or more, tri level, split level, or is it just in a condo, townhome? Do you need a yard? What size of yard? Where in the community do you want that home? But that's the fun part of starting to look at those homes. Then once you finding something that you really like and you want to go after, that's where the paperwork comes up. So there's several pieces of paperwork that we'll go over. First one is an agency agreement. It's what allows your agent, me, to work with you, represent you for purchasing a property. Second document is the contract to buy or sell. That is what I'll fill out for how much you want to offer the seller, Also, a whole bunch of dates are in there from the due diligence period of things we need to get done by certain dates to fulfill the contract. Also, again, with that purchase price, how much is going to be a loan, how much is down payment, all of that, and you'll sign that. We'll go over that line by line so you understand what you're going through. As with all contracts, you definitely have the right to seek counsel. As agents, we're not licensed attorneys. At the top of every contract, there's verbiage around make sure you know your rights for those contracts. So you want to make sure you review that if you desire to. But again, we'll go through all the aspects of the contract, all the dates and the due diligence periods. There's a section on the contract that has all those line items and dates, starts with the earnest money. If your offer is accepted, first thing you need to do is get your earnest money in. Every transaction is different with how much earnest money you want to put down. That secures the contract, makes it legally binding. After that, you get into title work from a title company. They have to give you the history of the title, any liens that are on the title that they find that are recorded, and the taxes, where the taxes are, property taxes if they're paid, if there's still stuff in arrears. On down the line for HOA documents, if the property happens to be in an HOA, time period to review those. If you're going to get it inspected, which I always recommend to get the home inspected, even if you're not going to ask for them to do anything. You get the home inspected, a period of time for that, to negotiate around that. Getting the place appraised. If you're getting a loan, the mortgage company will require an appraisal. There's a time period for that. Any documents that are associated with the home, if it appears they have somewhat newer appliances, newer furnace, AC, roof, if the roof's been replaced, we want to obtain any of those documents from a warranty perspective or just how to use them, user manuals, those type of things. We can ask for all of that in this due diligence period. Last item is to make sure you can get approved and finalize the loan process. Time for that. Make sure your insurance reviews the property and they can provide you a quote of how much that insurance will be for you. All that stuff is done in the due diligence period in that 30 to 45 days. Again, it's written in the offer, so if you want to make it a little more aggressive, we can squeeze that time frame down to less than 30 days. Generally, lenders want the 4-week period to go through their process. We could also push it out 45 days or more. And work towards that closing date. So that's the final date is the closing date. And there's two pieces of closing. There's actual close on your loan, buy the home, money changes hands, and possession of the property. So those are also specified in the contract to buy and sell. Closing is, as I said, when you become the owner of the property. However, depending on the deal, the situation, you may not take possession of it right away. The seller may at the beginning say, hey, yeah, we can close whenever, but I won't be able to get out of here for 30 days after close. I need to find my next place, whatever that may be. So there's a piece to negotiate around that 30, 40, 60, 90-day period after closing that they may need to stay there. So there's a separate document, a post-closing occupancy agreement that'll get drafted and signed to take care of the period between closing and possession. Basically, you become a landlord. And post-closing occupancy agreement is a short lease for that time period. Again, we can go through all of that. So as we go through there, let's say you get the earnest money in, get an inspection done. You want some things to be corrected by the sellers. There's a document there, an inspection resolution that we'll work together to get that filled out, how we want that worded for the sellers to correct. The sellers can do one of three things. They can agree to do all of it, send over inspection resolution to review and sign. They can agree to do part, not all, some, maybe give you money instead of actually doing something. That will also come on a resolution. If it is money, only money coming back to you, that's part of an amend extend document. Or they could just say outright, no, we're not doing anything. Then that puts the decision back to you as the buyer as to what do you want to move forward with this. Again, as long as that's done by the dates in the original contract to buy and sell, If you say, nope, I don't want to go forward with this, we can cancel the contract with a termination document and earnest money release, in which you'll get your earnest money back. Similar steps with the title work, HOA documents, appraisal, insurance inspection, due diligence documents. If anything comes up in those categories, we can use that amend extend agreement to make changes to the contract. As we talk about, hey, something's wrong with the HOA, we don't like it. If you don't want to do it at all, again, we can kill the deal. If there's clarifications there, we can go through that process. If any of the documents come through, let's say the furnace document shows that it was indicated it needed to be replaced after 10 years and that hasn't happened, we can talk through that process. If insurance comes back with some stipulations, we have the opportunity to discuss those things. And there's documents behind every step of the process and things we want to do. As we get by the appraisal, so the mortgage company will order the appraisal, that report will come back to see if it appraises at your purchase price or lower or higher. If it is lower, that's a negotiation point. Use an amend extend document to amend the purchase price. If it comes in higher, we won't, as the buyers, want to amend that. We'll want to just keep it where it is. Obviously, if it comes in at purchase price, we keep it where it is. Then it moves forward to finalizing the loan documents. May be asked to provide additional updated documents around bank statements or newer pay stubs. And then we work to get the clear to close from the mortgage company. That means that everything is ready to go for us to go to the closing table. You can sign all your documents, 2 sections of documents. One's are the real estate documents. Sign your settlement statement, anything that has to do with buying the property. And then the big stack is your mortgage documents, putting a lien on the property, all the rules around your loans, all that's signed in front of a closer, notary. They notarize your signature. And now you're a homeowner from that point. If there is a post-occupancy agreement, you won't move in when you close. So we'll manage that process between you and the seller until they move out and coordinate doing that. Right before closing, we want to also do another walkthrough. So as we did with the inspection, went through, checked everything out. We want to do a walkthrough right before closing to make sure the home has stayed in the same or better condition than the last time you saw it, so that they haven't destroyed anything in it, nothing weather-wise has damaged things, that you are still ready to buy that property. And you'll do the same thing with the post-occupancy. Before you take possession of the property, we can do another walkthrough there. Again, make sure nothing has been changed from when you first saw it and that you want to buy it. So as you can tell, it's a long process. Again, 30, 45 days there, but I'm here to walk through, handhold every piece of those steps to ensure that you are confident, understand everything that's going on. And really, my biggest thing is to make sure there's no surprises. I work with your lender to get everything out in the open and that all parties involved know what's going on, when it's going on, how it's going. So I really like the process. I really like helping people through it. So if you have any questions on any of that, please don't hesitate to reach out. My calendar link is below. You can call or text my cell phone number. I'm here to help however needed. Again, everybody, hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.